IVM.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Musafir Stories, India's very own travel podcast, where each week we share the journey of travelers in their own words and relive their experiences with you, our listeners.
Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode on the Musafir Stories. First things first, a big shout out to our listeners who have taken out time to write to us. This week, we thank Krishna Singh, Deepu, Gokul, Malini, Tatul, Mr. Bhikta, Swati, Navina, and Asna. If you have feedback to share, please do reach out to us on our social media handles, or even better, leave us a rating on your podcast app. That's something that'll go a long way in improving our show's discoverability. Thank you. And now for the winners of the book giveaway from last week's episode on Pondicherry. And the winners are Mohan and Shruti. A big round of applause and a big thank you for writing in. We will be in touch shortly to share more details. And for today's episode, we have a very special guest, Abhishek Vaid from the Untravel Show, who will take us to a very special place today. Let's jump onto the episode and find out more. So with that introduction, I'd love to welcome Abhishek Vaid, the founder of the Untravel Show, a travel show that focuses on meaningful travel content designed for the internet and TV that is cinematically shot, theme-based, and story-driven. Abhishek, thank you so much for being a part of the Musafir Stories and welcome.
Hey Sav, thanks so much. Yeah, we've been interacting for a while now. I'm really happy that we're finally doing this. Yeah, I think you've already talked about what I am into these days. Even though I get this a lot, that when I say the Untravel Show, so what exactly does that mean? That you preaching not to travel or something? But actually, truly speaking, the intent is to inspire people to go beyond the beaten to death itinerary or just traveling for sightseeing. And go far and beyond for food, for local communities, for inspiring stories, for unique experiences. So basically travel for more. Travel don't just for the run-of-the-mill itineraries, basically.
Brilliant. Yeah. That's why I was really eager to bring you on the podcast as well, because you offer a very different perspective, not just on travel, but the whole concept of looking at travel as more of a philosophy, right? Even your personal story was very inspiring to me. That's why I'm really eager and really happy that I finally have you on the show. And we wish you all the best and all the good luck for the Untravel Show. And we will look out for... So much, we will share all the links to the show as well in the show notes so the listeners can check it out. But the agenda for today is a little hatke, if I can call it. It would be really sacrilege if I call this any other trip or just a run-of-the-mill itinerary like you mentioned, right? You are taking us to a very special place and really looking forward. I'd been looking forward to a very authentic account of this journey ever since I heard news about this place. So without keeping the suspense on for too long, why don't you tell us where you're taking us and our listeners to, Abhishek?
So we are going to a very special place on the border of India and Pakistan. Actually, to be very frank, it's actually not on the border. It's in Pakistan. The place is called Kartarpur. And now it's better known as Kartarpur Corridor. So again, just to give you a little bit of backstory to it, I'm so sorry. As I've told you, even the mission of Untravel Show is about storytelling, and somehow I'm not able to hold my thoughts when it comes to setting context for
absolutely.
For a particular
That's what
place.
we're here for. Please go ahead.
Again, it all started with the fact that, as I told you, my mother is from Kashmir. So I have heard partition stories. I have heard Indo-Pak, the stories of Indo-Pak wars. As a matter of fact, my father was born in a town which is now in Pakistan called Multan. And so somehow, again, this, I would say the thirst of going to that side of the border. That hunger has always been there. All these your typical Bollywood masala movies, like Border or 1971, and I've watched all of these, and I was always of the opinion कि अगर कभी पाकिस्तान जाना हुआ तो तार काट के ही जा सकते हैं, because there's no other way out. But as luck would have it, last year exactly the same time of the year, so I would say somewhere around 12th or 13th of April, I was in Amritsar creating a video on the Punjabis harvest festival of Baisakhi over there. So I was there for almost a week, staying at an Airbnb, and that's how in some or the other conversation they happened to mention about Kartarpur, that this gurudwara is there, that's on the other side of the border, and there's some talks going on. There's a possibility that the doors might open, and I thought I've read it somewhere but never really registered it. It just rang a bell that maybe I've heard of it somewhere, read an article also. But left that discussion at that. And when I came back, and after a week or so, it just came to my mind, and I Googled it and realized that something's happening over there. So the administration of both the sides, on Indian side it was led by Navjot Singh Sidhu, on the Pakistan side it was led by Imran Khan, both of them coming from cricketing fraternity and have been good friends. So it wasn't getting a huge media coverage, but still there were chances that it might get open. So right. I called my Airbnb hosts and told them that please keep me posted on the updates, because apparently it's not much covered by national media. So in case you get any updates in your local newspapers, so please do let me know. Yeah, that's how this I started following the updates, and finally I got to know that the corridor would be ready. The timeline is mid of November. That happens to be the 550th birth anniversary year of the founder of the first Sikh Guru of Sikhism, the founder of Sikhism, Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
Right.
So that's the deadline given to them, and the work is going on in full swing. And I was pretty sure that I have to go there on the very first day, or maybe on the very first week. I started following up on, okay, what are the documents required? What would be the process like? It was all vague, because at the end of the day, it's a new place. No one ever expected a no man's land of sorts, a platform of sorts where people from both the sides can come. Right. And I was all set when I realized that I think it was opening somewhere around 13th or 17th of November. I was all set by end of October. But unfortunately, I was diagnosed with dengue right after Diwali, which was 29th October. I was bedridden for a week and couldn't be there on the opening ceremony.
Right.
But I was pretty sure that once I get back on my feet, I have to go there, and I only have to wait for 2 more months. So the day finally came on the 13th of January. I still remember the date, that when I had the permit in my hand and I could actually cross over the border without actually cutting any barricade or digging a tunnel. So that's
unlike Bajrangi Bhaijaan, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and thank you for kind of calling out that sequence of events as well. And like you rightly mentioned, it is a very, very significant site for the followers of Sikhism, or Sikhs, right? There's about 30 million Sikhs in the world, and this is the place where Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, like you said, was supposed to have lived in his final 18 years, right? This is where he lived, and this is the Gurudwara. The final days of his life were spent here, so that way also it's a very, very significant site for the Sikhs. And one of the 3 three holiest sites for the Sikhs too. The other two being the Golden Temple in Amritsar and the
Nankana Sahib?
Nankana Sahib, I'm sorry.
Nankana Sahib.
Nankana Sahib, which is the birthplace of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, like you said. So, yeah, very, very significant place. And it's almost like a movie script, right? Nobody would have, perhaps a year ago, nobody would have thought that this was possible. So came a little bit out of the blue, and on a very significant occasion as well, like you said, the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak. And apparently it was opened up on the 9th of November, which was also, I guess, in one way symbolic in that the Berlin Wall was kind of broken off that same day. Anniversary, right?
Thanks for that, man. I somehow might have missed out on that, but yeah, again, significance of sorts.
Exactly right. So kind of symbolic also because, like you said, it's between two nations that haven't always been at the best of terms, and even like in the past couple of years, right? It's been blowing hot and cold, so nobody thought that this would go ahead. But I think, what can you say? Perhaps a divine intervention, right? That everything fell in place, and a lot of the Sikhs from around the world were able to come, and I mean, it's an ongoing corridor that's been established between the two nations. Now, just to set a little bit of context, right? Like you mentioned at the beginning, also, this is about 5 kilometers on the other side of the border, right?
Yeah, somewhere around 4.5 kilometers. Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms just of the process and the procedure itself, right, there's always a lot of misconceptions when one has to cross over to the border, like how do I go about this, what happens to my future travel with if there is a Pakistani stamp on my passport and stuff like that. There's a lot of, I think, apprehensions and some of them misconceptions as well. So why don't you draw out the process, Abhishek, of this?
Sure. Initially, the process, because it's a new place and the processes haven't been into existence, so a lot of people were not really sure that what are the requirements, which are the documents required, whether the passport is required, not required, whether we have to pay a fee or can it be paid online, and then finally, right before opening it up, the three major points that were listed down were, number one, there's only one mode of application, that is online. Okay. The second thing is passport is mandatory. The other thing is that this is a visa-free access. So when you're applying online, that doesn't mean that they'll be sending you a visa. What one gets is a permit. So the process goes like this. You have to go to this official website wherein you have to enter the basic details like name and passport details and a scanned copy of your passport photo. After this application form, you get an ID, and the application goes to Ministry of Home Affairs. Generally, it takes around 4 days or so, 3 to 4 days, when Ministry of Home Affairs, MHA, they call you back asking for the details, just verifying the details, whatever you have mentioned in your form. Right. Then they'll forward this application of yours to your local police station. Again, after 3 days or so, you'll get a call from there. Now here, the process varies from state to state. In some states, I've seen that the police comes to your place to do the verification. Okay. In my case, I was called at the police station. I went over there. They just asked what the purpose is. They asked me to get a self-attested declaration stating that my only purpose of going over there is tourism, nothing else. Okay. Then I have to provide, again, an ID, as in my ID, as well as 2 other witnesses. Okay. So that's it. That can be done. That's a day's job if you know what exactly is required. So that's a day's job. You go to the police station in the morning, get the declaration form. It's nothing. It's just an A4 size paper on which in my case, the policeman only has written in Hindi that this is what the purpose is. I just have to sign it, get it back, get it signed from 2 other witnesses, take their photocopies of their IDs and go back and submit. After that, generally in, I think 99% of the cases, 4 days before your date of travel, you get an SMS with the link to the permit, which is called ETA, Electronic Transfer Authorization.
Okay.
So this ETA is basically your permit, which is valid for just your date of travel, which you would have mentioned while filling the form.
Okay.
Sorry, one point that I missed was that you have to fill this, you can only fill this form minimum 14 days prior to your date of travel. So let's say if today is 2nd April, you can travel from 16th of April onwards. So you can, the date that you have to fill online while filling the form could be 16th, 17th, 18th, whatever. But not before that. So you have to plan 14 days in advance.
Okay, cool. And like you mentioned, the important thing is that the validity of this is just for the day of your travel, right? It's basically a 1-day pass or a 1-day permit.
Exactly. Just that one day. On the website, it's clearly mentioned sunrise to sunset. At least when I went during the winters, the timings were 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay, cool. So that's brilliant. I think that's some great information for somebody who's looking to plan out this whole process. It gives a sense of how much time ahead of your travel you should start the planning process and the application process. Now, in terms of getting there itself, right, how did you get there, and what's the best way to go about this? There's perhaps only one way of doing it, but what's the starting point?
So from wherever you're staying in the country, you can come down to, either you can directly go to Amritsar via train or flights as well, or you can come down to Delhi and take again trains, buses, taxis, whatever mode of transport that you prefer till Amritsar. From Amritsar, it's around, I would say, 45 kilometers or so to a town called Dera Baba Nanak.
Okay.
So this is the place on this side of the border. From Amritsar, there are these public transport buses, the state transport buses, every half an hour, starting 6:30 in the morning till Dera Baba Nanak. Or you can also take trains as well. Unfortunately, I think there's just one train that's from Amritsar station. There are other 3 trains from another small station called Verka. Verka. So that's not very far from the Amritsar city center. So from there, the train also take, I'd say, around an hour or so to cover these 40 kilometers. Or you can drive down. They have huge parking facility. It's all included in your entry fees. One thing that I forgot to mention, that entry fees is not supposed to be paid online.
Okay. So this paid at the place, right?
At the place itself.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
The only documents that are required to be carried would be your passport, original copy of your passport, and a printout of your ETA, the electronic transfer authorization.
Okay, brilliant. So at this point, the immigration is done right at that border checkpost, I'm assuming, right? The Dera Baba Nanak.
Dera Baba Nanak, exactly. And that is such an amazing facility. It clearly looks like an airport. Even the immigration process is exactly like how it is at the airport. The staff is really hospitable. They're really helpful. They really want to promote that place, and on both the sides. It's not just on the Indian side. So you start from here. You reach the check post over there. Then you get over with all your formalities. They'll check your passport. They'll check your ETA. Then they'll take you through a bus. They'll take you to the border check post. Over there, you have to get down from the bus, cross the border on foot, and go on the other side of the gate. So actually there are 2 gates, one on the Indian side and one on the Pakistan soil. And let me tell you that feeling is surreal. I mean, when actually I was crossing over, it gave me goosebumps. I still get goosebumps when I tell this to anyone, because that feeling is something that you have to see it to believe it, or feel it to believe it.
Sure.
Then on the other side, there are these brand new golf carts on which they ferry the travelers from border to their side of the offices where again the immigration process is done. Before that, there are these currency conversion booths,
right,
where the fees is required to be paid. The fees is in US dollars, 20 USD.
Okay, this is the entry fee basically, right?
Entry fees basically. So either you can carry USD or you can carry INR. But the catch over here is that 20 USD is roughly 1500, 1500. But if you pay in INR, they ask 1800. So it's better if you have USD, you take it from Indian side itself.
Okay. And it's not, it doesn't sound like very exorbitant. So that way, I think that's a good thing. Also, I know there was a little bit of a discussion around this, if there should be a fee, there should not be a fee and stuff like that. But again, $20 20 US dollars doesn't seem like a very exorbitant fee. So I'm happy that we haven't, like some people haven't been like priced out.
See, a lot of people have been talking about it. There have been two schools of thought. One is that this is not an amusement park. So this is, it's a holy shrine. Why exactly are we being charged for this? But I am of the opinion that number one, it's going towards a noble cause. Second, the level of infra that they have developed over there. The scale at which the facilities over there have been created, have been built, and the hospitality, the cleanliness, the staff behavior, and that comes at a cost. So even in one of my videos, I've mentioned that consider it as a toll fee. You use the highways and pay tolls.
Exactly.
So that's what they have done. They have created this corridor, and it takes energy, it takes time, money, energy, everything. So at the end of the day, if you ask me personally, I don't want to politicize it, but I didn't mind paying it.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, again, a personal opinion, at the end of the day, right, I'd rather visit the place that is of such important significance and so holy when it's well maintained and clean and neat and in a hospitable environment, rather than not pay for something that's shabbily maintained, right? That's the way I look at it personally. But yeah, good to know that at least I feel like most of the population won't be priced out of this because it's $20 USD. So that's brilliant. Now, this is, I'm assuming, still early in the morning, around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, by the time all of this formalities, etc. complete, Abhishek?
Yeah, so I was there by, I think, 9ish or so, but it's a process that's being done throughout the day. So it's not necessary that you have to be there early in the morning. You can also reach there by 10, 11, whatever. I think the last time of entry, if I'm not wrong, is 2.
Okay.
But it's better to check on their website. They since it is new and they have a proper team managing their social media, so it's that's the best source of information, and it's always updated.
Okay, that's brilliant. And in terms of things that you can carry inside, or are there any limitations? Obviously, the usual things that are forbidden on carrying on a flight, right? For security reasons, those things are not allowed, I guess.
It's more or less the same. Having said that, they also have a list of negative items published on the website, so one can check it out. But I feel that mostly you can carry everything you want. When I say everything, so we carried our camera gear and elaborate camera gear. So we carried our lenses, 2 cameras, tripods, gimbals and whatnot. And nobody even asked a question. They know that, even they need coverage. And apart from that, I also saw a lot of people carrying small sacks of grains. And I got curious and asked them, you're not going on a picnic, so what's the point? So the intent was that they were actually going there to donate it to the gurudwara committee. Nice. Yeah. So even that is allowed. Yes, there is a cap of, if I'm not wrong, 7 kgs per person.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think is good enough. And plus, if you're going in a group, in a family of 3 or 4, so you have 20, 30 kgs limit. So I think that's good enough.
Yeah, definitely. It's about the right amount, I guess, because if it's too much, then you risk causing inconvenience to others, right?
True.
By delaying the process and everything. So just think of it as a check-in baggage that you're carrying on the flight. I'm sorry, a hand carry that you're carrying on a flight. So that's brilliant. So thank you for kind of calling out all of these important points. Now, I think one of the most important aspects of this is obviously once you've gotten into the Gurudwara, right? Can you kind of describe to our listeners also like how the Gurudwara in itself and the premises itself, right, is, because it's a very kind of vast expanse of the complex itself, right? Not just the Gurudwara, but it's beautiful and spreads over, I don't know, I think it's over 1,000 acres or so, the whole complex in itself. But yeah, please describe to our listeners how it is.
Yeah, so I don't exactly know the amount of area that it covers, but it's massive.
Yeah.
And the way they have built it is the actual darbar where the shrine is there. So that's in the center of it. But the entire complex is massive, beautifully built, white in color, and the first look that you get, it's seriously mesmerizing. Plus, they have a lot of facilities over there in terms of cloakroom. You can also keep your stuff over there. The staff and the armed forces over there, they are really helpful. They are willing to go out of their way to help you out if at all you need any information. So after an initial, they take, I think, 2 to 3 minutes to give you an initial briefing as well, as in where are the toilets, where is the langar hall where you can have lunch or meal throughout the day.
Right.
Then there's also a small little pond over there. When I went, it was some maintenance work is happening, so I couldn't visit that area. Along with that, there's also a small little market complex of sorts, wherein you get snacks and sweets, some handicrafts work, handloom, and those are all set up by our Pakistani brothers only. They have set up, I think, 14-15 shops maybe.
Okay.
So that's also adds to the convenience of people traveling with families or want people looking to get some souvenirs from there.
Right.
But yes, the moment you enter over there, if I have to describe the vibes in one word, I would say it's positive. The feel of the place, the energy of the place, and eventually the experience of the place is supremely positive. I seriously thought that probably we since we were there by 10:30 after doing all the formalities, I thought it would take us 2-3 hours. So after lunch we should be free. But I was the one whose name was called out at 4:30 that I'm late for the last bus. So you can imagine. I mean, at the end of the day, the good thing is that it's not just Gurudwara. It's a symbolic gesture. It's a platform to actually go and feel what the people of other side of the border thinks. The best part is even they come for that. Over there, you won't actually have to look for because we all look the same. We speak the same language. So one distinguishing factor is you get these iCards or tags which are different in color. So I think ours is of yellow color and theirs is of orange.
Interesting. I mean, just talking about the Gurudwara in itself, right? Like you mentioned, even though it's like that huge and there's so many people, one of the things just by looking at the bunch of video or vlogs that had been put out about this was of kind of calmness and tranquility, right? And it's like completely in white marble. That kind of also makes the whole feeling and the experience kind of surreal in one sense. So that's something I think you can only experience or feel while you're there. But just my thoughts looking at just the videos of this, it just seemed quite unreal given the huge white marble structures around and all of that, and apparently it's believed to be one of the biggest gurudwaras also in the world. So very, very significant that way. And like you mentioned, the main shrine is at the center of the gurudwara. So how was your experience visiting within, and how long are you allowed to stay inside the shrine for?
So generally, there's no fixed time over there. I mean, you're free to spend as many minutes or hours as you want. See, one thing that I noticed was that the place was built for to cater to massive crowds. I even checked with one of the committee members over there, and they were expecting a turnout of around, I think, 3,000 to 4,000 daily. And around 5,000 to 6,000 over the weekends. And what they are getting these days is 200 to 300 daily, I mean on weekdays, and 500 or so on weekends. So yeah, that's slightly disappointing. But at the same time, I also feel that more than anything else, the confusion in terms of the process is what stopping people to actually not go there and experience the place. A lot of people who really want to go, they don't have passports. That's one of the reasons. Right. The other thing is, a lot of people think that your passport will get stamped and then you will not be able to get visas of other country and so on and so forth.
Right.
So, see, personally for me, even if had they been stamping the passport as well, I would have still gone. But yes, I understand the misconceptions and I understand the reluctance of people as well. So, just to clarify that, nothing gets stamped, even though you have to carry your passport, but that only acts as an ID.
Yeah.
No stamping, no visa, nothing. Your ETA is your permit that allows you to go there for a day.
Exactly. I think that should be like a big sigh of relief for especially the people who travel a lot and are kind of apprehensive that once you get a Pakistan ka thappa, you won't be able to get other visas, right? So yeah, to kind of wipe out that misconception, there's no stamping on the passport as such. That way,
and I just wanted to clarify one more thing that. Even this Pakistan ka thappa wala thought that a lot of us have. I've spoken to people who have actually visited Pakistan on business visas, on pilgrimage visas, and a few foreigners who have traveled to Pakistan on tourist visa as well. And they got visas of other countries. Then they have been to Europe and America, Canada, a lot of other places. Yes, the possibility is there that you might get questioned on what your intentions were. But if you can prove it to them and just be confident and tell them what your itinerary was, for how long were you there, what all did you cover, what basically was the intent of the trip, I don't see this as a dampener.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. It's just that, like I said, right, it's a misconception and just that notion that, it might cause delays in other procedural things, right? So that's the only thing. But even those people don't have to worry now because it's only a permit. It's not a visa. It's basically visa-free travel, as Abhishek called out at the beginning. That's brilliant. Now, one other important thing, and obviously, like whenever you visit a gurudwara, one of the standout things, obviously, you are spending time meditating or spending time there in devotion within the premises of the gurudwara itself. And I think it's called the Chowra Sahib, basically the fan that one uses, right, within the shrine, all of that. So that experience is an important one. But some of us foodies, always look out for the langar, right, within the Gurudwara, and that's a very unique and beautiful concept that is within Sikhism, right? That of community kitchen, which is the langar basically, and serves thousands and thousands of people around the world, around the gurudwaras in the world. So how was that experience?
To be honest, Sikhism is one religion that have the sense of service at the core of what they preach.
Sure.
So they don't distinguish between religions or castes or gender, economic status. The sense of service and the offering of free meal is there across the world. No matter what gurudwara you go to, whether in Pakistan or in India or in Southeast Asia or in the US, it's the same over there. Over here in Kartarpur as well, the langar food, I see, even though it's really simple, it feels homemade, but at the same time, I think it's just about the energy of any gurdwara. I think that happy vibes are transfused into the food, and then no matter where you have come from, you always enjoy it, even to the extent that a lot of dhabas, at least in North India, when you're traveling to different places in Haryana or Punjab, a lot of dhabas offer langar wali dal. So they try to prepare it with the similar sort of recipe, but no, the feel that you get in a langar, it's something different.
Okay. Brilliant. I think, that's something to kind of look out for as well. And the other very important aspect of this visit, I'm sure for anybody visiting and for you as well, would have been the people factor, right? Like you mentioned as well, it's not just the Sikhs from India that are visiting this place. And in fact, not just Sikhs, perhaps a small population of Sikhs within Pakistan or across the world that are visiting. There was also some locals, right? Basically Muslims from Pakistan
a lot of
that were visiting. So how was that experience interacting with them, and what was their thought? Like, what were they looking at while they made this trip, while they made this journey?
See, so I spoke to a bunch of them, rather dozens of them, and they actually come there looking for Indians. They just identify them with basis the color difference in the tags that we get, and they'll approach you in a very respectful manner, and they just want to speak to you in general. That I mean, where are you from, and what kind of language do you speak? And they'll to all of us Hindi speakers, one common question that they ask is, "आपको इतनी अच्छी उर्दू कैसे आती है?" But the point is that there's hardly any difference.
Yeah,
they are really curious, so they basically come there to be able to satiate their curiosity about what we think about them, what we eat. I also got asked that, are you a vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Are majority of Indians vegetarians? Do you guys cook meat in home, or is it only served in the restaurants? A funny thing happened. One guy asked me, so do you get liquor in normal shops? I mean, do you have liquor stores over there? I said, yeah, man. I mean, these days we even have boutique liquor stores. Those are like liquor malls in itself. And plus the kind of dresses that we wear. I was even asked what's the significance of our festivals. Why is Diwali celebrated? Why is Holi celebrated? And they were aware of all of it. Courtesy, of course, Bollywood. But
sure.
But yeah, that's the kind of conversation that they want to do. They just want to come there. They want to talk about Bollywood. They want to talk about cricket. They want to talk about food. They want to express their wish to come to India. And it's unimaginable, man. And I'm still in touch with a bunch of them, and I've received so many invitations on Instagram, on YouTube, on emails that I have to come and visit visit other parts of the country as well, and they are willing to show me around. So it felt so lovely, man. I mean, this is one of those borders in the world where the language, the food, the color of your skin, the way you look, the attire, nothing changes at all.
Exactly. There's more similarities than differences, right?
Exactly.
Like you called out, it's just the tags you need to distinguish between the people. Otherwise, it's pretty hard.
That's it. And the sad part is that even though the partition happened, 73 years ago, we are still under the influence of that sense of enmity. And it's all driven politically, to tell you the truth. The ground reality is that the majority of people on both the sides are pro-peace. They want to meet, they want to welcome, they want to hug. They just don't want wars. They just don't want enmity.
Yeah.
I think that place is completely different, even from Wagah border. So a lot of people know Wagah border, but the atmosphere at both these places are 180 degrees apart. At Wagah, it's all about patriotism and aggression and cheering for your country. Over here, it's like we are just one people.
Right. And the backdrop that this is in also kind of adds quite a bit
Adds to the serenity,
right?
no doubt. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like you said, right? There is loonies on both sides. There is bad apples on both sides. But I would agree that majority of the people, even forget about wanting to visit each other, whatever their main criteria or main goals in life is to perhaps, like they say, roti, kapda, makan, like those things, right? Livelihoods. Most people care about just livelihoods and live and let live kind of a policy. It's just that it's unfortunate, like the situation in itself and how it's kind of been blowing hot and cold over the years. It's unfortunate, but this I definitely would say is like a ray of hope. I mean, a few years ago, nobody would have thought that one would be able to visit visa-free, even albeit it's to a small part within Pakistan, right? So definitely a ray of hope, and one can only hope that such exchanges become a little more common, where common people can get to kind of interact and like out of the curiosity, right? Like a lot of these people, you said a lot of them were just there like innocent chatter, like what do you eat, what do you drink, where, etc., questions like that. So I think it's great to have those interactions. Now, is there, in terms of even just the whole way this has been shot, right? We definitely link it to the videos that you've put out on YouTube as well. It's been brilliantly captured, the whole thing. But are there any restrictions in terms of filming within the shrine?
No,
Abhishek?
nothing of that sort. You can film anywhere.
Okay, even within the
Even within the shrine,
gurudwara?
even within the main darbar as well. So I've shot over there as well. So yeah, no one stops you. You know, we didn't carry drones because we were not really sure that whether we'll be able to fly that. And at the end of the day, that's a border.
Exactly.
But it turns out that people have flown drones also over there. I'm still not sure that people from India, can they carry drone or not? It's nowhere mentioned. But we have incorporated drone shots. So I reached out to a few Pakistani creators and content creators, and they had a few snippets, a few drone shots, and I requested them, and they were more than happy to share it. And that's what we have used in our video.
Absolutely. We will link those videos as well. And like I mentioned earlier, brilliantly shot, some of the drone shots as well. They give like a beautiful aerial view of the entire complex. We will link those. We will link those in the show notes section. And just while as we start towards inching towards the end of the podcast, Abhishek, any other important things? Because I saw a couple of other points of interest that perhaps we can call out. One was, I think there was a really old well, perhaps from the time of Guru Nanak Dev Ji himself, right? That's there within the complex. That's something also people can check out, along with a little monument of, I think it's called the Kirpan, right? The dagger, basically.
Kirpan, yeah, that's there. In fact, I was so the other day I was having an Insta live, and I was also told that there's a mazar also over there.
Interesting.
And see, that's true secularism, that in the same complex they have a mazar and a gurudwara as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get to know when I was there. See, that's what, even though I spent an entire day over there, and I was on a purpose of making content, making a video. But after a while, I realized that I see the core intent is actually to come here and sit with these people and speak to them and tell them how India is, and share or exchange notes. And I completely forgot about a lot of places. So we missed out on a lot of quote unquote content, basically. But at the end of the day, the experience was magnificent, and I'm already planning to go out there again. Hopefully, I get to go there this year. So let's see how that pans out.
Absolutely. And like you said, right, at the end of the day, it's those exchanges that matter, and it's those exchanges that kind of stay in your memory for a long, long time. Sure. So that's, I think, about 4:30, like you said, that's when you start wrapping up and you head back, and it's pretty much the same journey again. But thank you so much for kind of drawing out a beautiful image, a beautiful experience of this entire trip you made, a trip to, like we said, one of the holiest places. It clearly reflects that even basically the principles on which Sikhism is based, right? Peace, harmony, and universal brotherhood. So thank you so much for calling that out. We will, like I said, we will link all of Abhishek's work as well in the show notes, so listeners should definitely go check out until they plan the trip to Kartarpur Sahib. I would say live it virtually by looking at Abhishek's beautiful videos and his guides to how to get there and what one should keep in mind while planning. Thank you so much for beautifully covering this, Abhishek.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
that was yet another great episode of the Musafir Stories. If you guys like the show, please subscribe to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Savan, Pocket Casts, Castbox, Stitcher, or any other podcasting app available on iOS or Android. Please do leave us a review on iTunes. It goes a long way in the show's discoverability. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We go by the handle The Musafir Stories. Or, if it suits you, you could email us at themusafirstories@gmail.com or visit our website at www.themusafirstories.com for more information. All of these links will be made available in the show notes section of each episode. So here's to more traveling, sharing, and inspiring. Stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, happy travels and goodbye.